and hammering out hammering that out.
Yeah.
Right? But that's different. So now it becomes this war. It's an ongoing war between the current state of hip-hop. And technically, I think it's fucking awesome.
Why?
Because... Well, you were about to say... Well,
no, I'm just saying, like, why? Like, I was going to ask you, like, why? Like, why you think it's, like, cool? Because I just like to hear people different opinions and points.
Well, because in order to... Positivity overcomes negativity eventually. There's the reason why there's the ray of sunshine at the end of the light, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's always that thing to look forward to. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. There's a ray of hope. There's always that shit. And I'll tell you what, 2018 has been one of the best years of hip-hop in a long time.
I agree with that.
In a hot fucking minute. But that is not without an excess, just a bunch of bullshit that's all layered over the top with all the popular stuff. You know what I mean?
Yes. Like,
people don't get to see the Black Thought Volume 2s. Dude, Stream of Thought Volume 1 and Volume 2? 2 in 1 year? Come on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shit killed it. That shit, oh.
Yeah, like, even, like, for me, like, one of my favorite artists, you know, he's been doing it for a long time, is Royce the 5'9". And
Book of Ryan, bro.
Yes, Book of Rhymes with him and Premier. Like, a lot of people that I know that know hip hop, they don't even like listen to him like that. Like, I'm guilty of that too, cause there's some artists that I haven't listened to yet or known of yet, but I know like the majority of them. I know the lyricists, you know. So I was like, why you don't know about Royce the 5'9" and your favorite? You know, one of your favorite artists is Eminem. Like, it's just kind of like surprising sometimes, like, with that. But
well, yeah. I mean, you know what the challenge is, man? It's very easy to stay comfortable than it is to reach out to something uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Because how many times are you going to want to gamble on something that you've never heard before, only to be disappointed? When you have someone that you connect with on a certain musical level, where you can literally just jam them all day, mm-hmm. I can fully understand, because I can say that in some ways I do it to myself. Bro, I have never willingly listened to Tekashi 6ix9ine.
No, me either. I can't.
Okay, I think that there's a part where like 15 seconds or something of one of his songs came on when I was in the area. And I think, if I recall correctly, I purposefully made an exit out of the area that was playing. Okay? If I recall correctly. But the thing is that, like, you know, that means I'll always fall back into my comfort with Doom. I will always fall back into my comfort with Doom. You know? As much as I love and respect other artists that are coming out with shit today, because, you know, dude, Black Thought and, well, Roots, Questlove, and specifically then Black Thought, who is easily one of the most underappreciated all-of-time Hall of Famers.
Yes.
Of hip-hop, you know. So, like, dude, I wish people just were able to, like, hit play on the playlist of life and be able to get through it all. But you can't. There's a finite amount of time. And that becomes the challenge. So if you have the choice between staying comfortable in the stuff that you like to listen to, or you have the choice to then try and find out new interesting stuff to add into your mix, bro, you only got a limited amount of time on this planet. Listen to what you like, right?
Yes.
That's why people find the scene that they're involved with. This makes me comfy. I'm going to stay with this comfy thing for the rest of my life so I can stay comfortable.
Yeah, even as a DJ, like, that's why most DJs made it, because they played at clubs or different events songs that they, you know, ordinarily listen to, you know, on their own time, and then they'll probably add like the top 40 and stuff like that. But my problem was now, because I had an interview with a radio personality, and my only problem is probably the DJs, because I think they always play the same song all the time, whereas even 10 years ago it wasn't really like that. Like you could hear you'll be able to hear like an up and coming artist that's coming up, whether he's like from a small town from New York or a small town from Florida. Like you'll know him because he he was on the radio. But now, just like I think 2018 been a great year. I think because one, a lot of artists felt like you don't really need a label no more to push out music. You do it yourself. And two, I just feel like even as a DJ, I feel like most artists don't really. They need DJs, but they don't because they have cult followings. They have people who really follow them. They have that small base of fans that would reach out to different people and be like, "Hey, listen to this dude's song." So I feel like that's why 2018 been so good. And then like you have like the legends, the artists like Black Thought and Royce da 5'9", all these other artists coming out with some dope.
The Master Ace Marco Polo album is easily one of my main contenders for album of the year as well. You know what I mean? Just as far as like, because that came late in the game. That was the last quarter album. You know what I mean? But then like even MF Doom put out a project this year with Czarface. Czarface meets Metalface. You know what I mean? Like there's just so much that happened. And honestly, you know what I think it is? I think it was a response to the bullshit war that's been going on. Now, which actually is a nice segue back into the original question, which is why I think that this quote-unquote war is so technically awesome. Yeah. Right? It's tough to understand that when I say war and then I say awesome, that I don't want to promote a word that is generally associated with negativity, extreme negativity at that, right? If you were to change the word war with competition of mindset, right? Yeah. That to me is what this represents, and it represents the following. It's a combination of true. Again, remember the forefathers of hip hop. They aren't all dead. I think like people think that like this history that they're like some George Washington motherfucker. You know what I mean?
They still alive.
They're dead. They're a long time. Rest in peace, Rakim. Thank you for your work. You know what I mean?
Rakim's
it's like,
still making
these guys
music.
are still alive, kicking.
Yeah.
Right. And what I think happened is that the people who wanted to get out of the negativity in this way, they did, and they want to help others get through it. And those who are vested in that culture are a part of it, right? And that's where the golden era then ends, because with enough time comes, I don't want to again associate negativity, but a growth, like a fungus, like something's bound to grow, something bad's about to happen. But change is also about to happen. There's bound to be a distillation of something, and so to me, what I feel like happened is, the youth wanted to, because remember, there's other genres outside of hip hop that are still going on that people are still blasting in your face. Yes. Every year we hear Christmas music, right? And it's like this music is just thrown into us regardless of how we feel about it. And so with all these influences at play, hip hop and the popular growth of hip hop started people to transform the original culture into something that was a little more marketable. Right? Now, when you get into that kind of fun stuff, it's not really fun. You can tell I talk almost in opposites. Right?
Yeah, no, it's fun.
I say war is cool, but then the other stuff is fun. But then the other stuff is fun, right? Yeah. But what I mean by this war that's going on today is this: this is one of the best things of hip hop because it's a response that people need to wise the fuck up on the culture. True. Okay. That this culture, the best culture in the world, is not going anywhere yet. The truest, purest form is not going anywhere. Okay. And that other people can try and flex what they want to flex, but that you will not push against this wall that is hip-hop, And there's enough people who are coming out of music now today because, just as you said earlier, because of the fact that we can also make it ourselves easier, right? Because this technology is more accessible than it was in times past. then you can have a higher number of culture geeks who are promoting it more than they used to.
Yeah.
Right? The other side then goes to this. If you were to go to a numbers game of how many people would dude, somehow, I don't know how, okay? I have yet to, no one's been able to explain it to me yet. But somehow, Tekashi 6ix9ine has millions of followers. I don't know how. No one's been able to, put it into words.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They or at least they don't put it in words that actually detail a plan. They'll just be like, yeah, man, it's fucking his attitude, swag. It's he just doesn't give a shit. It's you know what I mean? Those don't mean anything. Those are characteristics of a person's demeanor.
Yeah.
It's not a reason to follow somebody. If you like somebody because they don't give a shit, that literally means that you like not giving a shit, which is the opposite of what we should be doing as humans. We should be giving a shit about each other.
Yeah.
So with that said, somehow this guy has millions of followers, but that means that they're. Think about the majority of them. How old are they?
What, 13 to probably 21, 22? If you think about it, because I'm 26, about to be 27. A lot of us, I can say 23 and up. It's some that probably tolerate him, but they don't really listen to him. It's more of the younger kids. And
right.
For me, I feel like the only reason why he has 1 million followers because he's in that group of artists that is in that other group with people that tolerate or can give that attention to that nonsense of a person that's not what I'm trying to say.
It's because it's a game.
Yeah.
It's a game. Dude, Tekashi 6ix9ine, I would put more money down that every amount of everything that he's ever done or talked about is just pure talking shit. And or that is not him talking shit and that he just is a dumbass. Okay?
Yeah.
It's one of the two. It's either that it's all so far beyond fake that he just went so far to get him into this kind of trouble, right, kind of thing. Or it's that he really is that kind of person, and you're just literally snitching on yourself.
Exactly.
Okay? Now, whichever one it is, I follow that. But the only reason why I bring up his followers and how old they generally are is because it's obviously it's not just a generation. He is representing something to these younger people that probably just represents a large-scale amount of rebellion. Mm-hmm. Something that is fully understandable inside of today's current political climate. Dude, the socio-political climate today is horrendous.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Everyone's choking and sweating on their words because they can't say shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I can understand what people at a young, impressionable age can see inside something like that. He represents the part of you that wants to tell everybody to fuck off and that you just want to get booty sweat. I don't know, right?
Yeah.
Which hopefully people of the listeners will understand what booty sweat reference is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if people know what booty sweat is, then I'm a fan of you. Okay. That's. But yeah. So with that said, to me, his whole fan base has to do with their age, right? And it has to do with the fact that, look, just being real, who I don't go to for life advice, fucking 15-year-olds, 20-year-olds. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's, if you're telling me that if you're going to compare the fandom of someone who is from an OG culture
mm-hmm.
to someone who is of a new age culture, right? They will argue that they have a larger fan base, but if that fan base, it's like a numbers game. And now I'm going to get super nerdy on you.
No, that's fine.
Think about the Battle of the Five Armies kind of shit from Lord of the Rings, right? Okay. It's not just you have a giant horde of the evil, right?
Yeah.
And then you also have these other smaller pocket armies, but because they are so focused and strong, their forces come